Stretch your spine up tall. Everybody but me gets to take the glasses off and close your eyes. Draw the senses in. So if you come rushing to class or somehow out of breath, it's not important that you deliberately slow the breath down, but it is important that you make the breath rhythmic, steady. So not that you are, but if you were, for instance, out of breath, that rhythm of that breath, when you're catching your breath, should be made rhythmic, not irregular. So it's the same here. So in this rhythmic breath that in its own time begins to grow more steady, more even. Release now. Sit up straight. Release those thighs, legs away from the spine. So those muscles in the low back, buttocks, legs, release toward the feet, away from the spine. That's lateral, vertical. The nerves too, for those legs, not just the muscle, but let also the nerve pathways smooth out. The skin tells you. The arms too. The spine is tall. The musculature of the arm settles. The nerve smooths out. Then the senses and mind itself settles down and into the body. So the structure sits up and the mind and its action and its organs of action settle down. Join your palms. Pay homage to this practice and to that root teacher, Patanjali. Bow your head. Release your hands. Raise your head up and open your eyes. Now, stretch your legs and change the crossing. So it should, in theory, it's your left shin coming in close first. Whatever it is, it's your other side. Sit up straight, adjust your posture. Now, I'm going to turn sideways so you see this. So I want you to increase the height of your back ribs in the air. So we're gonna lift them up, interlock the fingers, pull them up. Lift your back ribs off your buttocks. See how my head is forward. I'm just keeping the neck from tightening. Okay. Pull those ribs up. Now, if the head is down, it helps keep the head slightly forward. Take the arms down. Don't lose the height. Hands on the knees. Lift your ribs. Head down. Lift your ribs. Spread this back. Okay, relax. Now, stretch your legs and stand up. So I'm going to tilt this so you can see more of me. But the more I can see of you, the better. So your back could be to the wall. But I think it would be better if your front were to the wall so that you can feel your back spreading. So, sorry, this is a lot of help, but walk your arms up. See, I'm not close to the wall at first. I'm lifting my ribs. And as they come up and as the chest opens, you can walk in. Always stand on the heels. Keep the hips down. Use the leverage of the arms on the wall to lift the back ribs. Let your head be forward so that that back of the neck also stays long. Back, shoulders, long. Okay, release, come out. Turn around and being away from the wall, do the same thing. Don't touch your back to the wall unless you have balance issues, in which case I prefer you put your side to the wall. So arms straight and reach them actively now. So you begin the spreading of the neck and shoulder. As much as you're working on this leg action, also make sure you work up here. Then as the arms come up, this does not reverse. Your brain stays away from the arm action. Lift your ribs. Inhale, lift your ribs. Interlock your fingers. This makes it easier. Head forward. Lift your back. Stand on your feet. It's your back ribs. I want to lift off your hips. And from there, take the chest and open it. Never close that low back. Release, come out. Remember which interlock of the fingers. Now, so if you go back laterally, you can get more spread. So you go up again and reverse from one interlock to the other. And it's your back first. Turn those palms. If you need a strap, you take right? Lift your back, lift your middle ribs. All of those back ribs have to come away. Back of the neck broad. Now, last thing, roll those triceps and stretch up. That will give you more breath. Triceps comes toward the armpit. Make this outer shoulder firm. Stretch up. Release, come out. Go to the floor. If those shoulders are stiff now, you take support for the wrist. Sorry, I'm going to tilt the camera. So first, lying on the floor, spread your back. This is different. Standing on the floor, you stretch your legs first. Here, you're stretching the back first. Look, I even prop up and lengthen those back ribs away from the hips, and then they come down. And only then do I tuck the shoulder blades without losing that extension of the ribs in the low back. Usually it's a trade-off. And I'm saying don't lose that low back. Now, the legs stretch. Oh, by the way, you can push with your arms so that when you stretch your legs, the length of the spine persists. Then either the arms going overhead or out to the sides, or even bent elbow, it's your shoulder. Go safely and stretch. If you don't need the blanket, don't take it. Lengthen the back of the leg. Lengthen the back of the neck. Keep those ribs away from the hips. Now, last thing, those legs, imagine that right as you are, you have a strap around or a brace on either side of your feet, outer foot. So you put a mild outward pressure on that foot, and it wakes up the outer leg to the hip socket, all the way to the outer hip. So don't overdo that action. The idea is use the leverage of the whole leg to make that outer hip firm. And then breathe pelvically. It should be able to allow spreading on the interior, that firmness on the outer hip. I hope you get something of this. Release, come out. Bend your elbows, bend your knees, roll to your side, come up sitting. Now, you need a surface, and you could use a chair or a table or a desk or a shelf, but you need a horizontal surface. So I'm just turning to, this is my less than half platform, which is not quite desk height. You know, it's 2 feet tall. It's not my hip height. A chair is close to hip height. So a fold or a stool, Chaya's got a stool there, that'll work. So what I did with my not quite hip height is I put bricks on it, these two bricks, so that now I can stand 1 foot there at hip height. Uttita hasta padankushtasana. Now, if you want that foot on the back of the chair seat, Pratima, and with, and if you pat it with a blanket or a sticky mat, and if your balance is precarious, be near a wall. Otherwise, you must use that outer hip. Now, look, if you're using the chair back, it goes crosswise to your foot, not longwise, crosswise to your foot. Okay, so after you have discovered your setup, stand on 2 feet. And Pratima, put the sticky mat over the chair back where your foot is going. That rolled sticky mat or a blanket. Yeah, you don't need it under your feet. If you only have one. That's right. Now, stand in Tadasana and stretch those legs. Move your thighs back so that back leg stretches to the heel like it did on the floor. And your back gets broad. See how standing we start with the legs. And then stretch the spine up. Now stay on the outer foot and inner foot, but pull up through the outer thigh so that outer hip is firm, and soften the groins. Lift up through the spine, stretch your arms. Now, yes, take your arms up overhead. Most of you, I can't see the arms, but I'm asking you to remember these instructions. Outer hips firm, stretching the legs to the floor. Outer arms at the shoulder, firm, so the inner shoulder can stay away from the skull. Stretch up, lift your back. Now, take your arms down, keep that height, and bring your right foot up onto the chair. Use a wall for balance as you may need to. Otherwise, stand up straight. Make that standing leg, outer hip firm. Bring the lifted leg, outer hip down, and compact both firmly. Stretch from the buttocks away from the spine toward the floor. Let those nerves do the same thing, right out to your toe tips, both legs. Lift your spine up, stretch your arms down, and raise your ribs up as the arms come up. Now, if you need to interlock thumbs or fingers, Padankuliasana, and pull your ribs up higher. Pull back ribs up higher. Let your head come forward if need be. Keep the neck soft. Exhale, come out, hands down. Then release the leg, help it out. Stand at 2 feet. And if you need to, please walk around 2 or 3 steps. Walk tall, as it were, so these hips stay tall. Then get ready, side 2. So if you see, I use a table and a chair like this as a support in case I need it. It's just beside me like this, so I can hang on to it as the leg goes up. Same would be true of a wall. It's just in reach. All right, stand tall. Take your arms up, keep your skull out of it. Lift your back ribs, stretching the arms. Then take the arms down and take the left heel up. Compact the outer thighs. And keeping that compaction, stretch from the spine, both sides, to the heels. Lift your ribs, stretch your arms, roll those triceps in, and take your arms up. Lift your ribs. Spread your back. Head forward if need be. Keep your skull, brain out of it. And release then arms down, exhaling, and help your leg out. Staying, I have to go back for you to see the whole story here. So, so I have one chair for my leg and a wall or a chair, whatever you've got for support. Now, the leg is going sideways, but look, this pelvis stays, so to speak, lined up with your sticky mat. Your leg, when it goes to the chair, might well be forward of that plane so that the pelvis stays parallel. So looking at it sideways, if my hip is here, because of tightness, my foot might be forward. If it's this way, it might turn my pelvis. I want that. So you understand, keep your pelvis lateral. Okay? But not necessarily, your pelvis is parallel to the plane. Leg lateral. Now, stand straight, both outer thighs compact. This should make you taller through that standing leg. Keep your outer heel down. Keep the outer thigh up and in. Keep the pelvis soft. Take both buttocks down, this one included. Hip socket down. So the breath returns to this groin. Stretch outward. Take your arms up. Keeping to the rules, watch that skull. Now, as the outer thighs are in their sockets, the outer shoulders through that triceps come in. Stretch your back, buttocks down, ribs up. Outer thigh of the lifted leg down, ribs up. Now stretch your arms out and just take this hand to the shin. Lever downward to lift these ribs up. Keep this buttock down. And if you can crawl out, keeping that buttock down, you do crawl to your ankle. Lift, spread your back, and come out. Help yourself out. Now you're going to change sides. Whatever your side two is, you move your chair, your props, your operation. And you stand and you remember the rule, keep the plane of everything in the body except this leg. This leg may or may not be the exception, but this is certainly the rule. Stay parallel. So pick up that leg, help it off to the side. It may go closer to the line of your hip, but only if you're not stressing joints. Yeah, lots of blankets is trouble. You don't have to raise the foot high, Gay. Compact the standing hip. Pull yourself up tall. Even here, that back has to open. It's not an afterthought. Take this left buttock down. You can help with your hand. See this? My thumb is pushing sort of right in the neighborhood of that hip socket to make sure it's down. This one up, this one down. Stretch your legs, soften the groin, stretch your arms away from the skull. Up they go. You interlock if or whatever as you may need to, but get lift in that spine. Physical lift. Assist with your inhalation and exhalation, and then take the arms back out. Take the hand to the shin. Now your job is to maintain the action, that buttock release, that depth of extension as you crawl out. Push on that shin. It will help you activate the leg, activate the trunk, lengthen that trunk, widen the groins. Inhale, come out, and help your leg out. Stand tall, walk around a bit. Then, are you okay? Yes? You all right? Okay. So I'm going to do this facing away from you and toward a wall. And I hope you can do the same. So here is a chair for my heel, same as before. And here's my wall, just sort of, let's see, I'll go this way so it's a cleaner view. So my right side is to the wall. Yours will be too when it comes to it. Okay, so it's close, not touching, but close. And I stretch my right leg out on that chair or support. Okay, left, both arms go up. I spread that back both directions. Then the away arm, the left arm comes to the right top shin, and the right arm starts crawling around into a rotation. Parivrita Uttita Hasta Padangustasana. big long name. And you sort of come out the way you went in, but don't unwind like a spinning top. Okay, so the arms go up, the back gets very broad, the legs stand down, outer hips firm, and your left hand comes down to lever against the outer right knee or shin, the up leg. And your right hand starts crawling around the wall to turn you toward the wall. Spread your back. If you're far from the wall, pratima, bend your elbow. Yeah, or stand closer, yes. But also you can bend that elbow and it'll take your shoulder a little more deeply in the pose. Keep those hips firm. Keep that leg gate very straight. Super straight right thigh. Bring it down. And come out slowly. Parivrita Uttita Hasta Padangushtasana. Revolved big toe foot pose. Can you turn your props around for side two? Make corrections as needed. Get a little closer to the wall, a little farther closer to your chair. Do what is needed to make this pose work for you. And don't come out of it with super sore heels. Pad that chair, that table. Hang on to the wall for support, at least with the elbow. Now stand up, vertical right leg, horizontal left. Face that chair so the hips are square. Tighten the outer thighs and stretch the legs from the spine to the heel, from the root of the leg to the heel. Make the nerve go there too. Stretch your arms, muscles. Then take that upward stretch very seriously, that Urdhva part. This is an Uttita pose. It is an intense and complete pose. Spread the back. Then you turn the right hand to the outer left shin, keeping that side of the back lifted. So use some of the musculature of that arm to keep the trunk lifted, and the left arm just stays up there, kind of spider walking around the wall to open that chest parallel to the wall. So Pratima, just bend the left elbow. Yes. Now come to your fingertips on the left hand. Now you can maneuver that shoulder more even delicately. Shoulder blades away from the skull, away from the spine. Lift your chest, turn. And out should come slowly, one thing at a time. Untwist the trunk, help the leg out, stand on 2 feet. Yeah, lift that knee. There you go. Stand straight. Now, you can keep your legs straight and fold forward. And do you see how I do this? I get my forehead on a padded chair back, and then the upper arm rests on that chair back. Upper arm and forehead. Feet apart. Take a rest for a moment. Forehead, upper arms. Now spread your back gently, no fast moves. Back of the neck, back of the skull, back of the shoulders. Remember to tuck those triceps in. Watch what the ribs are doing as you breathe. Get some movement in the top chest. Spread the ribs, the waist, the pelvis. Okay. Front, back, and sides. Now, come up. Take any support from the chair you like. Now, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Pretty simple, but starting on the hands and knees, very particularly spread the back. So I don't know if you see this, but I'm kind of from side to side. I'm breathing into my back to get some spreading from the spine outward. I'm not becoming like a tortoise here, but I'm absolutely thinking about that back spreading. And as I come up, see how my hands are a bit wide. That's so I can keep spreading the back. Feet a bit wide. Spread the back. Even with the arms wide, tuck your triceps in. Legs wide, tuck the outer hips in. And spread the back. Keep your back, your center of interest. So everything goes from there, Chaya. Take your feet a little further back. And a little feet, not hands. Feet back, more distance between the, yes, between it, that's it. And raise the heels slightly. Now that will get you more open space in the back. Did it happen? Looks like it from the side. Keep your outer heels pulling back, outer thighs pulling back. So the sides of the back spread and lengthen. Triceps tucking in. So those trapezius across the top shoulders can spread. Okay, rest. To the knees, that's fine.
Devon, how do you prevent pressure in the trapezius in this Adho Mukha Svanasana?
Trapezius, this part?
Yeah, it gets really tight for me. I think it's all going in the trapezius.
Okay. Let's see. I'm going to pull this in. All right, maybe you can see it close up. That's pretty close. All right. So if I'm not active here, I'm going to an extreme. But if my elbows are bent, the force is going this way toward my spine. So I need that force to come out from the spine. So I tighten this in and then I can push. Do you see that? This is the effort going in. Here is me changing it so the effort comes out.
Yeah, I can see it, yeah.
Okay, it comes from, okay, here's your philosophy thing. This is the organ of action. You must use it. So your energy has to get into the whole arm to extend out. If that triceps isn't active, the movement can't get out, it gets stuck. So you engage the arm, so the movement from the muscle and the nerve can move out. So if you see this, the neck stays soft. Here's the opposite. Here's me doing it correctly. Go.
Yeah, got it. Okay, thank you.
Triceps, outer shoulder. Drop your head. You saw my head wiggle, and I apologize for that. That is not a model action. Leave your head out of it. Drop your skull. Now keep that arm even on the floor. Yes, Chaya, your forearm is lifted better now. Keep the triceps rolling in. The action of the organ of action should be complete. So go outward. It's an emanation of the nervous system. It goes outward into the world. Don't block it. Okay, come out. Did that help?
Armpits, like they're not supposed to face each other, right? The elbow, these.
The elbow, when you first begin, when you're tucking the triceps, the elbow faces forward. But because of the structure of the shoulder socket, as it goes overhead, watch my elbow, you see that vein bump there? I don't know, you see my elbow. When I admit it, I'll do a dog pose. That arm turns. You should not stop it. But if you roll it the wrong way, that would be wrong. That will give you trouble in the trapezius. But you keep your arm straight. Don't think with the elbow, think with the triceps. Think here.
Okay, right? Yeah, got it. Thank
Let
you.
the elbow follow. All right. We don't have much time left. We have to do a few things. Get a strap. And tighten your strap so the loop might be a foot long, 12-inch loop. I'm going to adjust the camera because it's a little too close. Now, the other thing you might need is a bolster support for a leg. Okay, just keep it nearby, no big deal. Watch. Those three poses that we just, not counting dog pose, those standing poses. First, instead of standing on the legs, you have to open your spine. So get up off your back ribs, lengthen your spine, tuck your shoulder blades, then stretch your legs. Put that back thigh on the floor, compact the outer hips, release the groins and the abdomen. Then Supta Parampushtasana. The right leg comes up to vertical, just like it was on the chair seat. If you're flexible, you can go higher up, but don't shorten the strap. Keep the strap. Then square the hips. Extend the leg from the spine, from the nervous system. Keep those arms stretching. Now, take the leg to the side. Take your left arm out to the side. Take your right leg to the side. Outer thighs tucking into the hip socket. Both legs stretching. Shoulders broad across the collarbones, broad across the trapezius. But still you press that shoulder socket to the floor. Hip sockets to the left hip socket to the floor. Back of the neck long. Inhale, come up. Keep that leg straight. Release, come out. Bend that knee. Now, release, come out. Watch for a second. Well, sorry, change sides. Just change legs. Lie straight. Pick up that left leg. Then, keep the right leg straight on the floor. Stretched out. Don't be crooked on your mat. Open your back. Open your entire back. Breathe so you know what your back is doing. Shoulders broad, collarbones broad. Stretch that arm up. Hold the loop of the strap. And exhaling, stretch tall. Keep your trunk rectangular and broad. Reach those legs out from the spine and from the brain. And exhaling, straight left arm, two straight arms, two straight legs. Take your left leg off to the side. Stretch your right arm out. Keep the wrist and shoulder down. Keep your right leg stretching. If your left foot comes and rests on something, don't worry, let it rest. Actually, don't quite let it rest. Keep releasing the groin. Keep the outer thigh firm in the hip socket. Keep those buttocks away from the skull. Soft breath. Complete breath. Then keep the legs straight. Inhale, come up. And release the leg, come out, roll to your side, watch. So here I am with my strap at my loop. And the leg comes up, okay? Now, I'm gonna catch that strap with two hands so my shoulders and my upper back are symmetrical. This down leg stays straight, the lifted leg stays straight. And what I want to do is try to close this gap between my foot and my head. So look, my arms reach up and my back spreads and my head lifts and my back spreads. And I catch my foot and stretch the leg, and I'm making my back as big as possible. And then I come back down, trying to keep hold of that leg, but I take all that length that I added to the spine, all of it, and you come out. So you can let out some slack on the leg, but I'm suggesting you maintain as much of it as you can. You're trying to increase the length of the back body. So right leg first, raise up your right leg first. And open up on the floor first, like the previous pose. That's the starting place. Stretch your left leg, stretch your right leg, straighten both arms. Okay. 2 straight legs, 2 arms upright, leg upright, vertical leg. Now walk your hands up that strap, broadening your back, your shoulders round. If you could catch your foot, catch your foot. Oh, leg straight, back long. Try to bring your head to your shin if you can. And then stretch your legs and then release your rib cage, open, unfurl that chest back out on the floor. Head down, shoulders go back down. And the leg hopefully is a bit deeper in its forward bend. Stretch that left leg, pratima, and out you come. So Cliff, your head doesn't stay up the whole time. It goes back down. That's hard on the neck to keep it up. You got to come back down, open that chest. Okay. Side 2. Stretch both legs. Take up the left foot in your strap. Start in where you left off in the previous pose. Shoulders down on the floor, head down. So everything but that left leg is down, left leg is up. Then 2 hands catch that strap, walk up the strap toward your left foot. The shoulders get round, the spine lengthens as it rolls up. The back body gets long. Now is when your head comes up, Cliff. Now is when the head goes toward that foot. Walk to your foot. And then exhaling with all that extra fold in the hip, bring your chest back down. Take a deeper forward bend. Stretch from the buttock. Oh, straight legs. 2 legs. Push out through those heels. Head down now, Cliff. Head down, shoulders down, chest open. And out you come. Bend the knee. Okay, watch. Roll to your side, come up sitting. So lying on your back with your knees bent, and this loop may be a foot long, maybe a little bit longer. Okay, so by a little bit longer, I mean like that much longer, 1.5 feet, not 2 feet, not huge, really doesn't help. Now, watch. The right foot comes up. The right knee bends out. The right foot goes left. The right knee goes out. Right elbow goes out. The right foot goes left. My left hand holds on to it. And look, my left hand pulls left as my right pulls right. And between the two of them, I spread. And guess what spreads? The whole back starts spreading, back hips, back shoulders. Now from here, some of you could easily lift that back. You see how we're combining things? And I can walk, I can go closer, so I'm just going to show. You get your elbow there, and then relax that chest. Doesn't have to go toward the floor. You just have to open up that chest. If you want, you could stretch the other leg. So those who are stiffer, you just be like this. But I keep saying, spread, pull that heel. Belt goes round the right leg. Both knees can be bent. Good pratima, pull the heel, more important than the toes, with that left hand. Yeah, catch your heel and pull. It's like you're trying to pull the shin bone. And the right elbow goes right. Yes. Whenever you're ready, you come up with your head. Yes, widen those, widen. Everything widens as that hand crosses over. Hold your heel, okay, with the left hand and pull it away from the right knee. And with the right hand, pull back. That's going to help you change the hip. Do you feel? Pull laterally. Now, come out softly, slowly. I did not say to stretch the left leg. If you were waiting for that, I beg your pardon. That's an option, but I do recommend. Side two, left foot in the strap, knees bent at first. So let me say that right leg can stretch toward the completion of the pose. Not quite at the moment, unless you've been here lots. All right, so the left leg goes up, and the left hand holds that strap right next to the foot. Left hand holds the strap, and your right hand holds the heel. And your right hand is pulling that heel right, as your left hand is pulling the strap or your foot left, right? When you're tight, you stay with the strap. Here's my strap. So you pull. Then, as you're able, that elbow goes overhead and you're still pulling your heel. Rest your head on your wrist or your elbow or even the strap if the shoulder requires, and keep pulling. Stretch the straight leg if it's going to happen. So pratima, the left leg is bent, the strap is around the foot and being held with the left hand. And the right hand holds the heel. So it would be the left elbow that goes over the head with that strap in hand. So what I see is, unless you have a shoulder injury, that arm should be behind your head, pratima, on the strap. That's why I asked for the strap to be a foot long. You hold the loop and it'll put your elbow behind your head. That looks good now, Chaya. I hope you're okay there. Good. Release then. Come out. Yes, Cliff, that's it. And Gay, the hips are tight, but that's an approach. I hope it feels safe. Gay, does it feel safe? Okay, good. Come out then. So Pratima, it is like the action of Gomukhasana in that shoulder. Okay, I wish to move on so we can actually get to a pose that was asked for. And it's about the shoulders, Pratima, so we might as well. It's different though. Just remember, when you come in, your hips are fine for that pose. So it's just get that fix on this shoulder. You keep your strap 1 foot long and your elbow goes behind the head like Gomukhasana. All right, here's the pose I'm after. Take a blanket and make a roll out of it. Not very big, just a roll. Watch. My knees are a little bit ahead of my hips when my head goes on to that blanket. And I'm trying to arrange so my body weight hangs back. So my legs don't have to do anything. Then, this is my left arm. Left elbow bends and pushes so that my right arm can slide under. Now my head is turning as my trunk turns. And I'm walking those fingers out. So now this is my right arm. The right side of my back is getting very spread. And if you push with that top arm, please do it if you're not doing it yet. Push with that top arm to keep yourself from just collapsing onto that shoulder. Keep some spreading so that right shoulder can roll down. Right back body can have room to roll down. Now, and your neck is not over, curled. That support should keep the neck quiet. Now, come out. And sit back on the heels. I hope that's easy. And let your shoulders relax. Okay. Side 2. Go. Okay, so you find that same relaxed thigh hanging back. So the spine and the weight of the trunk is not going toward the head. It's hanging away from the head. And the right elbow bends, hand braces wherever it seems convenient, and you push with that right hand to lift the shoulder and then roll the left arm under from the spine. The head turns, the shoulder blade spreads. That neck has to be in line enough that it is not perturbed as you crawl those fingers further out on the floor. Crawling out, palm down. Go as far as you will go. And then you could rest with the palm up or upon whatever feels reasonable. Hang that trunk away from the head and then come out. All right. So what I said in this morning's class when I introduced that pose is it's sort of, there's this pose which folds up your leg like this. So what you just did is sort of the shoulder version of that same pose. That's sort of how I think about it. Get a brick and your sticky mat. And if your neck needs some support for Chatushpadasana or Setubandha on the brick, then get a blanket and protect your neck. Yes. It'd fold with stripes if you've got a striped blanket. And if you're working with a brick, you need to make sure, change this. You need to make sure that your neck's in the right place on this blanket where you need it to be, shoulders elevated. But when you raise your hips, this lower end of the blanket has to be out from under where the brick is going. So you see I'm rolling it up a bit. Now, we've been in forward bend, so don't go smack to the brick right away. Instead, press the arms down, press the legs down, roll those triceps in, lengthen the front thigh, lengthen the back of the neck. As you come up, keep expanding the back, broaden the back. This feels quite different from all the back spreading we've been doing. You can come down, take a rest, and then you can go up again and place the brick. So stay up and work this pose from the point of view of how do I keep the broadness of my back? Even as I'm rolling the triceps in to get those arm bones underneath my back ribs, how do I keep the back ribs broad? Even though that pelvis is coming up in the air and my buttock muscles are tightening, how do I keep the back pelvis broad? And it's a similar instruction to solve both those problems. That triceps and the arm have to be the actor in the upper body, not the chest. So stretch the arm, press the arm down, roll the triceps in, take that shoulder socket to the floor, and release the inner body from the action. Stretch outward away from the spine and skull. Likewise, the leg. Lift, making the outer hip firm. Anytime you want, put that brick in. There's no requirement to stretch the legs unless the action is coming for you. Feel free to interlock the fingers or catch a strap between your wrists to straighten the elbows and get better action out of that shoulder socket. Inside that shoulder girdle, broaden the back ribs. Inside those buttock muscles, relax and broaden the sacrum. Soft throat, broad throat. Now walk your feet back in if they were stretched out. Very carefully press the arms and feet down. Raise the hips up with attention to the details. And as you come down, do it broadening, lengthening the back. The chest has been opened by the pose. So now let the back be open. And the knees at first are bent. And in the knee bent position, you observe what's happening in that low back, waist, back ribs. Because this Setubandha, for some of you, shortened and shrank that low back. So see if without muscular effort, but just by letting go and maybe adjusting the skin a bit, you get that back open. Then stretch the legs for Shavasana. Shoulders tuck away from the skull. Any kind of support under the head that preserves the broadness at the base of the skull is good. So the limbs are at rest and they are extended away from the trunk, away from the spine, away from the skull. And they have detached from the mind itself. Steady, soft inhalation and exhalation. So see if in these few minutes you can keep that breath broad across the back ribs, spine, back waist. So it emanates from the spine outward, just like all action does. Now it is time for class 2, and you may stay as you are, keeping that spreading breathing. Or you may come out. Namaste.